we've got the same sort of issue there with the hot and colds. Just at the back there is a little hole that takes us up into the airing cupboard. We're going to take the pipework up in the airing cupboard and get onto the flow returns in there. And then this side, we've got the same sort of issue here. We've got centre where the rad's going to go, so 500, and then we always add 1.5 inches on. I always work in metric and imperial. Don't know why, I've just always done it. Dave Bishop's arrived. Well, to be fair, he arrived a while ago, but he has... I don't think you've come in here yet, Dave, have you?
Not yet.
So he's been here for probably 3 hours. Fair play, he's gone and got breakfast, but he's not come this side of the build. He's not actually come inside where the grafters are, Nige, has he?
No. You told me I weren't allowed in. My tools were out here, look.
Where's the tool? Where?
Yeah, where?
Where? Boxes. Look,
yeah,
all the
put
boxes.
out there earlier.
All the boxes are still shut.
I've just got a tape measure out.
That's mine.
Yeah.
So today we're starting a little garage renovation where someone is turning their garage into an office and they've got a little toilet and basin at the back wall. Here it is. It's early in the morning. Nige is here. It's Dave Bishop's job, but it's, what time is it, Nige?
Oh, hang on a minute. 8:20.
8. Dave Bishop's still not here. Where are you, Dave? Right, I'll quickly give you an overview of what we've got. We've got a radiator going on here, on this wall. Over the back end there, we've got a toilet going in and a basin going in. We've got to run pipework round from this radiator up into the ceiling, across the airing cupboard, and then we've got to take hot and colds from there through the joists to drop in to feed that toilet and basin over the back. So this video is going to be getting the pipework in and getting it all set up, ready to turn this garage into an office and a toilet. Right, we are inside now. I can show you a little bit more detail of it. Radiator going across there, and what we're going to do is feed off either side in these little channels here. So I'll take a heating pipe up there, same this side, heating pipe up there, bring them through this joist, and then if you can see, just at the back there is a little hole that takes us up into the airing cupboard. We're going to take the pipework up in the airing cupboard and get onto the flow returns in there because... if I don't fall over, because if you can see here, those are the heating pipes, and as you can see, it's a chipboard floor. To get access to them pipes, because there's no room above to get my cutters in or to get any sort of fitting onto it, we'd have to have that floor up. Now, if you've ever taken a chipboard floor up, it is an absolute nightmare. Try and avoid it at all costs. So luckily for us, we've got a little gap there that can take us into the airing cupboard. So we'll send the hot and cold, send the flow returns up into there. That's not too bad. And then this side, we've got the same sort of issue here, across there. We've got the same sort of issue there with the hot and colds. However, luckily for us, if you look up there, that is the feed to the basin in the bathroom. So I'm going to switch out that elbow for a T, same on the cold, bring 2 hot and colds down into here, drill through these joists, and then this is the area here. Toilet on that back wall, basin on here, and then we can feed the toilet from the rear, obviously. Basin, we're chopping into the wall now, aren't we? The waste for the basin.
I do believe Dave wants that. Yeah.
So we're going to wait for Dave to get here, probably about 12 o'clock. You'll be watching this, Dave. And then we can run the waste and the hot and colds round the wall. We think the basin's going on there, Dave knows when he gets here. Chop them into the wall, get that sorted, and then the boys can carry on getting this boarded and whatnot. And then what I'm going to do, instead of connecting into the heating today and then having to drain it down again to connect into the rad, I'm just going to get the pipework in, so when we come back and second fix, put the rad on, we can then connect into the heating up there. The hot and cold isn't too bad, but the heating, it's going to be a bit of a pain draining it down twice. So there we go, there's a brief little overview of it. Let's get some tools in and start getting some holes through these joists. So first things first, we're measuring up to get the pipework into position for this radiator. So we've got centre where the rad's going to go. It's 1,000 rad, so 500 to the end, and then we always add 1.5 inches on. I always work in metric and imperial. Don't know why, I've just always done it. 500 to here, half the rad. 1.5 inches to the centre of where the valve's going to be, so 6 inches off the floor. So this point here is exactly where the pipework's going to come out. Just going to trim that little notch out there. Same this side, and then we can drill through this stud, through there, up there, and get it into the roof space.
So what I start doing now is get my 18mm drill bit and start drilling through these rafters where the pipework's going to go to feed the radiator down underneath that window.
So I've got some pipework in now. We're doing it in plastic before anyone comes at me. This is the thing with this channel. I'll do some work in copper, some work in plastic. I've never been just copper because there are times when plastic is useful, like here for instance. You're never going to get copper down through that stud. So plastic across there, and then what we're going to do is go through, I think I've already said go through that hole there, but we've run that across there. Right hand side pipework for the heating, left hand side pipework for the heating, across and through there. And then what we've got to do then is sort out about getting hot and cold over to here. So obviously toilet here, we're going to bring a cold feed out here, but I've just got to mark this wall now for Nige because they're going to chop in the waste into here, dab off, chop the waste in. The hot and colds can run surface onto this because where they're going to dot and dab it is they're not going to be in the way. So we've got to mark that up, and then Nige can start getting that noggin out of there. So we're getting the hot and colds in now for this toilet. I've run them up to this point here. To be honest, I'm not going to show you putting plastic pipes together because, I don't know, it's just monotonous, isn't it? It's just a case of insert, insert, push the elbow in, job done. So we've come along here, and then I think I've already showed you, if I can reach up here is a hole through the existing floor, and we've got a speed fit T to go on there and a speed fit T to go on the cold, and then we're going to come down in copper and convert into polyplumb, because if I went straight from polyplumb into speed fit, I know someone would moan about it. So I'm just going to completely eliminate that by coming down in copper and then off into this polyplumb over there to feed that over there. Dave Bishop's arrived. Well, to be fair, he arrived a while ago, but he has... I don't think you've come in here yet, Dave, have you?
Not yet.
So he's been here for probably 3 hours. Fair play, he's gone and got breakfast, but he's not come this side of the build. He's not actually come inside where the grafters are, Nige, has he?
No. You told me I weren't allowed in.
He just...
All my tools are out here, look, because you...
Where's the tool? Where?
Yeah, where?
Where? Boxes. Look,
Yeah,
all
well,
the
I put
boxes.
out there earlier.
All the boxes are still shut.
I've just got a tape measure out.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna get these pipes over to there into position, and then we've got to get the water off, drain that down, and connect up there.
So same as we did with the ceiling, we just drill our 18mm holes through these timbers, ready for the pipework to go for the basin, and also that are going to feed the toilet as well. As I said with plastic, as long as you cut it, mark it, put your insert in, and make sure the fitting is pushed all the way home, you're not going to have a problem with it. So that's what we do with these. Cut them, pop the inserts in like that, and then get your fit in. And you'll feel it sort of push in and lock all the way home, and you're good to go with it. As I said, sometimes I use copper, sometimes I use plastic. I personally haven't got an issue using plastic. People say, oh, you're not a real plumber if you use plastic. It's about the knowledge that you've got over the materials that people think you should use.
So we've got the pipework round for the back where the toilets go in here. We're just going to bring some pipe across here for the basin. Now, this job is going to have a bit of plastic on, and now we're going to do a little bit of soldering on it. So we're going to bring our 2 copper pipes along here. The reason being is if you put a plastic bend like that, they just come off the wall so far. Whereas if we... You finished?
Slap him, Tiff.
Trying to make a movie here, Nige.
Sorry, Tiff.
It's alright, don't worry. I have to put up with it all day, look.
The YouTube followers.
So if we come across here with an end-feed copper elbow, we can put that on, get it really tight to the wall, and when they dot and dab onto this wall, it's not going to poke out, the fitting's not going to poke out. So we'll get these 2 pipes soldered up into position, clip to this wall, poke a bit of copper out of here, and then we need to do the final connection up there.
See, I told you we'll be using a little bit of plastic and a little bit of copper. So as always, I put my flux on using my solder, the Realer solder. People say to me, you haven't fluxed it. I don't use a flux brush. I just put a little bit of a little bit of flux on the end of my solder and put it in the fitting and on the pipe like that. So there we go. We just touch the solder in there, make sure it's all right, give it a wipe over. It's been a minute or so for it to cool down. Wipe it over and then we're good to go. Then we just get some clips on and secure that pipe to the wall. Right then, if you are this far into watching this video of this garage renovation where we're putting the pipework in, and the next half is going to be fitting the radiator, connecting it in, and the toilet and basin. But if you're this far in, you must enjoy watching the content. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, drop me a comment. I tend to reply to all comments. And you know what? A lot of the people that comment, you'll know who you are. We've got a little bit of an online friendship going on. I love the comments. I love what people put in there, and I love it when people say, Mark, try this or do that. That's what helps to grow the channel. So if you haven't, hit the subscribe button, get subscribed, hit the like button, drop me a comment, because I really want to try and get this channel past 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. It's going to be close. I think we are 350, 400 subscribers away from it. So I don't think we're going to do it, but it's all down to you. If you can just hit that subscribe button and get it over the line, I'll be eternally grateful, because every year I try to hit 10,000 subscribers, and this year is the closest to the wire I think we're going to be. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Plus, if you are already subscribed to the channel, thank you for your ongoing support. It really does mean a lot. It spurs me on to make more content, to look at things differently. How can I film that and put it out for you? So yeah, hopefully I'll get another video out before Christmas. In fact, I've got one, I've just got to edit it up. So yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let's crack on with the video. So this downstairs toilet area is now completely carcassed out, copper piping, caps on, up and across, and we've got to connect in up here. So I've got the water turned off, currently draining the tank, gravity fed system. You get spoilt with combis. You assume every system's a combi. Obviously I knew there was a cylinder upstairs, but you just have to wait for it to drain. So what I'm going to do is replace this T and this copper pipe here for this elbow, and then the copper's going to poke out the ceiling here. The same with that 22mm elbow there, going to swap it for a T and then come out in copper, which will get us from the speed fit fittings. We can then connect onto the polyplumb fittings straight above my head and into this pipe here, and then get the water back on. Come on. That's off. Right, let's get that on if we can. That's on. And then reconnect. There we go. A bit of a faff, but we've got that. So we've got hot coming down here. Let me just take this out of my mount. Right, there we go. So we've got the cold on there, so I can come off there with an elbow, and the hot, we've took that T out and replaced it. Took that elbow out, sorry, and replaced it with a T, so we can come directly off there into our pipe, and then off there, down and across. But I've got to do quick because we're getting water passing through it. That pipe work's now in. We've connected up, as you can see, onto there and across. We're going to get a noggin on there in a minute, and across into there, down to feed where we're having the toilet at the base and that. Dave's going to do the connection to the soil pipe, get the soil pipe round, branch out, and the waste through there. So that, for the moment, is just about done. When we come back, we'll have the rad to go on there, and then we're going to connect the flow returns up there into the airing cupboard. So for now, all I've got to do is get the water back on, make sure this pipe works all good in here, which I don't see a problem with.
Look.
Look, that's sweat, that is, Dave, for I've been sweating getting the job done. And yeah, we're just about done for now on this job. Right, we're back now on this job. We've come back, it's probably 2 weeks later, and the room has changed. a fair bit. So now I've got plaster on the walls, floors in, everything like that. So what we've got to do today is connect into the heating system and connect in the rad that we put the pipework in for, which is just there, and then also connecting the basin and the toilet that's in here. But first of all, before we do that, I've got to drain the heating system down. So I've whipped this rad off here. I'm going to drain the heating system through there, go upstairs, connect into the pipework. I can't film up there because the customers are up there working, so I won't bother filming up there. But once it's connected, we can then come down, get the rad on, and begin getting that toilet and basin in. So first off, get the hose on it and drop the water out. So with this, I've just whipped the rad off. Sometimes it's easier to just take the rad off from the hallway straight out the door and get it drained down through there. So I'll put a connector on, onto the valve. We'll get the water off because we've got to do the water in there anyway, and it saves going up into the roof. Turn the water off under the sink, drop the system out, make sure all the heating's off and all that sort of stuff. Drop the system out, and we can connect on upstairs. So we connected the pipework just up there, up in the airing cupboard. That's done. Water's still drained down, heating system's still drained down. So now we're going to get this radiator on. I've marked it up on the wall. Now, so many people hang radiators so many different ways. The way I do it, get the bracket like this, offer it into position there, then measure from the bottom of the rad to the top of this point here, and then measure off the floor to where you want the bottom of the rad, and then measure from the bottom of there to the top of where the bracket is. So many different ways of doing it. That's the way I've always done it. Find it fine, but yeah, there's ones where people measure from the top down, all that sort of stuff. That's the way I do it. Let me know how you lay out the rad and the bracket and measure to get it done. The one that always catches me out though is when there's fittings already in, valves already on, and you've got to match that rad up to the height of the valve. Even 30 years in, that is still one that makes me go, have I got it right? Have you got to take off ½ inch from where it comes off the bottom of the rad to the valve? Absolute nightmare. But that is the way I'll do this one. So what we'll do now, obviously, get the rad brackets there. Dave tells me that they've put some battens behind there. So we'll get them screwed on, get the rad on, make the valves in, and we can connect the tails up.
So we start off by getting these rad brackets on the wall. As I said earlier on, Dave had put battens behind this wall, so it saved a lot of hassle just by putting some screws in there, get the brackets on. And also, as you can see here, I put those little white anti-vibration lugs on. I always put them on because I find rads sometimes rattle and it's really annoying. Then we just got to connect the rads up with the tails with the copper pipe coming out the wall. So obviously get it cut, give it a bit of a clean up, and then get your blow lamp on it. Now someone's going to say you haven't used a heat mat on it. If you direct the blow lamp in the right direction and not apply too much heat, you don't need to. It's only when you're burning directly onto things there can be an issue. As you'll see, that pipe is leaning back ever so slightly, but when we come to tighten the rad up, which you'll see in a minute, it straightens it out. So we cool it down. It's been a while. The edit makes it look like I've done it straight away, but it was a while before we cooled it down, so it didn't crack any joints. Give it a little bit of a clean up, and then once it's cooled down completely, put the drain off bung in so that the rubber doesn't melt onto the fitting.
One radiator done, on, and we know we love a little bit of thermal imaging. Heating up, nice and warm, job done. That wasn't too bad at all. Because it's a gravity fed system, I thought it was going to be a bit of a pain to refill it, but luckily it's not been too bad. Right then, now we need to get the basin in and the toilet in.
So we'll unpack the cistern out the box, make sure everything's all right in there. It comes supplied with the siphon and the fill valve and all that, so we're going to use what is supplied with this cistern and make sure everything is tightened up. So we've got the fill valve in there and then the siphon to go in afterwards, making sure all the rubbers and everything are tightened on nice and secure.
So as we crack on now with this downstairs cloakroom, we've got the toilet made up, cistern's all done, and we've got a flexi poking through the bottom there. Obviously now we've got to put our L-shaped brackets on. I show it every single time, but I just mark the outside edge of the pan there and there, and then also in line with where the hole is, like so, and then pull the pan out, and I'll show you exactly what I do with the L brackets. So as people will know, I always put 2 screws into here, into these L brackets. So let me show you, the shadows might throw a bit of a wobbler on this one, but this is the way I do it. It just stops these brackets from spinning. If you was only fixing it through the centre there, the bracket could spin left and right. So what I do is put one in here. It's quite handy being just a wooden floor in here as well. We can screw straight into it. And then one that side like so. So now you've got no chance of that spinning out of position when you're pushing the pan on. So let's get the other one done here, and then we can push the pan into position and get it on and fixed back to the wall with the 2 little lugs on the top.
A few moments later.
So I wanted to check that this was okay before bolting it down at the side. So we've connected it up underneath there, got the flexi on, and I've just given it a little test. I'll show you. There we go, all is good. So what I'm going to do now is get the 2 fixing points in the back, 2 fixing points in the side, get the top on, get the seat on, and that's that toilet ticked off. And then we can crack on with this little basin. Right then, we're on to the basin. I've made the tap up into the basin. As you can see, we've got the flexes coming down the bottom there. We can attach them onto the top of the isolation valves and then get our S-trap that way down and connect on the waste. So let's get this done. To be honest, it is a right tight squeeze in here, and I've got nowhere to mount the camera. If I put it on the toilet there, you can't really see in there to see what I'm at. But yeah, we'll connect them on, get the waste done, and then get that tested. There we go, job done. 1 garage conversion to what is going to be an office, and a nice little downstairs cloakroom. Toilet in there, basin on there, all up and running. And obviously a radiator on there that we connected under the floor there. Hot and colds run round and connect up there. Straightforward, but it's made this, because they didn't use it, a little garage area into a perfect little office space with a cloakroom. So yeah, spot on. If you've enjoyed this, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one.